Hey Deckers, welcome to another performance roundup. I've got 6 games to cover today, so a lot to dive into and a quick update on one other first. So Men of War 2 is actually performing very well on the deck. However, they have patched it recently that has changed what I was going to be talking about here, as it is actually performing a bit better than what you're seeing on the screen. So I am going to break that out to its own review, especially as quite a lot of people have been asking about this one, so I will cover that in a dedicated video. On to our main games then, starting off with Indika, and a huge thanks to 11-Bit Studios for sending us a key to test this one out. No official status on deck for this one, but it's definitely playable and pretty constant 40 plus frames per second, to be honest, as well. Not much in the way of settings, and some very funky UI design means that it probably won't get verified, playable at best. But in the main kind of gameplay loop, we are getting 40 to 60 frames per second depending on the areas. This is a hell of a journey of a game, and if you manage to get past the water bucket challenge, then you are going to enjoy the rest of this game. But boy, it does certainly test your faith in this game very early on. It has some very interesting concepts with random sections in either pixel art style or other random sections, especially as you saw with that sin section, like puzzle as well. Major blend of puzzle and thriller elements, I would say, with a very intricate story. This is definitely one that is more of a journey than a game, so let us know if you're going to be diving into this one. Next up, we have Still Joking, and another huge thanks to Evolve PR for giving us a key to test this one out. No official status on the deck, but definitely playable and very comfortably so, but this will likely only get playable due to small text. As you can see, running at a good 6 watt, you'll pretty much be able to play through this one without any worries of battery. This is a visual novel, so there is a lot of text and decisions as you're going through, but not a huge amount of way in gameplay. This is a great title if you like your story-driven games, and at least you now know it runs perfectly fine on the deck. Next up, with officially playable status, we have Samurai Warriors 4 DX. Huge thanks to KOEI TECMO Europe for sending us a key to test this one out. And as you can see, again, nothing major in the way of graphic settings, so nothing to show on this one, as you can't set them. It will run at 60 to 90 frames per second in most of the story sections, but when we get into hefty combat, as you can see, there is a lot of combat, especially with a lot of special moves going off. Killing thousands and thousands of warriors on your slug through castle sieges here between 2 selectable characters. We do bounce between 30 and 50 frames per second depending on just how many enemies and special moves are going off at the time, but no issues running this on the deck. Considering it still only picks around 12 watts, you're going to be able to play for a good 4 to 5 hours on the OLED with about 2 to 3 hours on the LCD, so no issues running this on deck. Before we head into the rest of the performance roundup, today's video is sponsored by Maximum Settings. You can check out some footage captured from their cloud gaming PCs in the background. Experience your entire Steam Deck game library at peak performance. Say goodbye to any constraints imposed by Steam Deck hardware, boost your frame rates, and unlock ray tracing support. Push all your settings to the max and explore the pinnacle of gaming immersion with Maximum Settings for an unparalleled gaming journey. Running on Linux Mint, you can increase your compatibility across all your gaming titles and even use Steam Big Picture mode. With up to 32GB of system RAM and a whopping 24GB of GPU RAM, you can unleash the most demanding mods without hesitation. Maximum Settings seamlessly extends your Steam Deck, desktop, laptop, Mac, smartphones, Android devices and tablets, transforming them into formidable gaming platforms at the cutting edge of technology. Use the link in the description below if you want to try it out for yourself. Unsurprisingly, Buckshot Roulette made it into the most played list with its officially playable status on the deck, highly addictive gameplay loop, and pretty much pure chance, being roulette after all. I had to feature this one in the performance roundup just to show it off that it is running perfectly fine. It does pull 21 watts though, which means you are only going to get 2 to 3 hours even on the OLED, but when it runs at a fully uncapped frame rate of over 90 on the OLED or a solid 60 on the LCD, you're going to want to actually cap this on the deck itself to reduce that wattage so that you can have a bit more playtime. Overall though, this can be incredibly frustrating depending on your luck of whether you actually get your guesses right or whether the dealer wins. ColorBlend FX Desaturation up next, and a huge thanks to the developer for participating in our Games in Hand Discord and giving us a key to test this one out. This did get verified status, although I am actually going to say that it probably shouldn't have, as it really does seem to work very well, even at the as intended settings, until you hit some of the forest sections and some of the other areas that really start mixing and blending those colors, where it plummets down into the 20 range, with those puzzle elements really causing a few problems. At this point we do need to drop those graphics down, and we can just drop it down into balance, which makes things a little bit more bearable, but it's still in some of these areas drops under 30 frames per second briefly, and hopefully the developer can work out these kinks to what these performance issues are around these sections, because it can easily hold 50 plus frames per second elsewhere. Overall, it has some funky puzzle elements, as well as some frustrating sections with platforming, which will certainly keep you entertained for a while. Last up, we have MotoGP 24. Huge thanks to PLAION UK for giving us a key to test this one out, and actually running incredibly well on the deck. With HDR support if you're running on the OLED, or you can turn that off if you're on external screens, and obviously not available on the LCD, but good to have the HDR option. We can actually run this at the full frame rate of the OLED, or you're going to get a nice capped 60 on the LCD with no upscaling with the FSR, and high pretty much preset. We are running a good 80 to 90 frames per second on the OLED, so again you will be able to cap this at 60 on the LCD just fine. Overall performance has been fantastic on this. However, I do have a bit of an issue with the control scheme, whereas basic makes things very easy, and even just going up one level to intermediate can really cause you major issues when you're trying to play this game. So getting a good control balance between the really simple settings and the intermediate will take you a bit of getting used to, and if you're not used to Formula 1 or MotoGP style games, the learning curve of anything above the basic control scheme will make you very frustrated. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be diving into any of these games, or what you'd like to see in the performance roundups in future. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.